Hey guys, and welcome to another Star Wars weapons and tech video, and in this video I'm going to be speaking about the equipment and weaponry used by the notorious Cade Bane. Now, when compared to many in his profession, Cade Bane might have appeared to be virtually unarmed, but it was a fatal mistake to underestimate the Duros, who was reckoned to be the very best of the bounty hunters during the Clone Wars. And Cade Bane's appearance was dominated by his long Nashtar tunic, cloak, and very wide-brimmed hat. From the shadows under that hat, his red eyes glowed with malicious intent. An observant person might notice the two small, worn nerf-hide holsters slung low on his hips, and the butts of the two pistols that rested uneasily there, eager to be used. The unfortunate standing in Bane's path might notice the bulky forearm gauntlets and wonder what manner of devices they concealed. Unless they got out of his way, they might be unfortunate enough to find out. Now, much of Cade Bane's arsenal was less obvious. Early in his career, he made the calculating and cold decision to kill a Jedi to boost his reputation. When the intended victim turned out to be a Hutt enforcer who was using technology to pretend to be a Jedi, Bane spared the man's life in return for the secrets of his equipment. The miniaturized technology gave Cade Bane an edge, and the assumption that the obvious weapons Bane carried were the only ones he had was a mistake that cost many their freedom or their lives. The pseudo-Jedi that Cade Bane defeated had used miniature jetpack thrusters in his boots to simulate force-powered jumping. Bane's equivalents were a little larger as he wanted to use them for longer flights. Now, the boots were perfect for fighting or otherwise getting about for long periods in zero gravity. The boots also gave Bane the ability to move incredibly quickly in a maneuver that resembled Jedi force speed running. On one occasion, while Cade Bane was dueling with Anakin Skywalker around a fast-traveling ship in the atmosphere of the planet Orondia, the bounty hunter used his boots and grappling hook to fine effect to stay in the fight. Anakin was able to damage one boot, but after regaining control, Bane was able to fly using just one, and even to fire on the Jedi at the same time. Breathing, and through his many dealings with Jedi, Bane knew they could sometimes display a darker side. Even members of the Jedi Order had been known to lash out with a force choke when pushed to the limits, and Bane knew that he could be pushing a lot of Jedi that far. To neutralize this threat, and also to help him breathe in otherwise airless places, the bounty hunter had cybernetic implants installed in his cheeks. While they were removable, the implants fixed directly to his cheekbones. Breathing tubes ran from there down into his throat, bypassing the area targeted by Jedi. Now, Bane never made the mistake of relying wholly on his equipment. His greatest weapon was his brain. Planning was all, and Bane was meticulous. In planning an operation, he built in as many options as possible, so there was always a profitable way out. With Cade Bane, things were never personal, it was always about the money. Operating during the Clone Wars, Bane regularly took the jobs no one else would. When he was employed by Darth Sidious or Count Dooku, this usually meant going up against Jedi, but Cade Bane never allowed their mastery of the Force to distract or impress him. He was more than justified in taking this view, as the equipment he carried and his cold-hearted genius meant Bane was more than a match for even the most skilled in the Order. Now, the quick-draw nerf-hide holsters that he wore on his hips were especially made for Bane and ensured his pistols never snagged on the way out. He called the LL-30s his persuaders and fitted them with custom sights, though he rarely needed those. They could be fitted with silencers when needed, and though this reduced their effective range. The weapons were made of a unique and expensive alloy that prevented the barrel from overheating if the blasters were fired repeatedly for a long time, and this allowed Bane to lay down a withering field of fire that was the envy of other hunters. Now, Bane regularly went up against Jedi and had a number of weapons he used to level the playing field. Though hugely expensive, Cade Bane obtained a supply of Cortosis projectiles that he fired from a handmade projectile carbine. They could short out a lightsaber, but Bane tried to use them as rarely as possible. And this wasn't just because of the cost, but the Cortosis chewed up the barrel of the carbine. Some of the most dangerous and ingenious pieces of equipment carried by the bounty hunter Cade Bane were his bespoke forearm gauntlets. Though the most bulky and unsubtle items he wore, the gauntlets were nonetheless a marvel of miniaturization. During his career, Cade Bane used a variety of starships, from a huge frigate to a small dropship to a starfighter, and all of these could be controlled remotely using his gauntlets. Each gauntlet was fitted with a pretty standard projectile launcher. But the real surprise were the Flamethrowers. Despite their size, they had a considerable range and were easily comparable with the larger Mandalorian equivalent. They were particularly effective when fired downwards, as Bane demonstrated when using the jet thrusters on his boots to gain height. Now, built into the gauntlets were a variety of standard devices that any bounty hunter would value. There was a data uplink and communicator, and a variety of tools and small blades, not to mention a cable launcher that could entangle an opponent or simply be used to fire a grapple. As Obi-Wan Kenobi and Ahsoka Tano discovered to their cost, Cade Bane also had his gauntlets wired to deliver an intense, if non-lethal, electric shock. This was delivered on contact rather than being any kind of ranged weapon, and could quickly incapacitate targets even as large as Wookiees. As well as his customized blasters and uniquely personalized gauntlets, Bane also carried some of the more traditional bounty hunter weapons, which included a small holdout pistol which was hidden on him at all times, which was good for close range or to keep an opponent's head down while he picked up a better weapon. He kept a range of explosives on him, selected depending on the job at hand, and to make sure he could bring down a target without killing them, he had a bowler tucked away in his belt. And lastly, but not least, he also kept an ice pick in his gun belt. And there you have it. That is pretty much everything you need to know about all the equipment and weapons that Cade Bane used during his career in the Clone Wars. So, if you like the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to keep up to date with all my videos as I release them, and as always, I'll talk to you all in the next one, and I hope you have a good day. Catch you all later.